Hi YouTube, welcome to another edition of Horror Hands, and this is going to be my end of the month haul where I show all the DVDs and Blu-rays that I picked up in the month of February. So first one up is Angel Heart. So this is a film that I've never seen but wanted to check it out, and I enjoyed it. It's quite low on the horror elements for most of the film. It's almost like a drama about these jazz musicians and that, but there's a strong supernatural element comes in at the end with Robert De Niro as like a devil kind of character. But yeah, really good film. I enjoyed it. Kept me intrigued and kept me guessing throughout, so glad to finally check that one out. Next one is Beast of the Yellow Night. This is one of these old made in the Philippines horror movies from the 70s, so if anyone's seen like the Blood Island collection, it's that kind of film. So really low budget and kind of cheesy, but one that I really enjoyed. It's got some good like monster effects and makeup and things like that, so yeah, pretty cool stuff. Next up is Bliss. This is the Eureka edition with the slipcover. This is a crazy film, this is. I had this one recommended by Hey, Isn't That the Von Graham? And really good film. It's a bit of a hallucinogenic nightmare of a film, to be honest. This girl, she's going out partying hard at night with these kind of friends, and she ends up becoming like a vampire with a lust for blood. And yeah, look,
as you do,
yeah. And a lot of it is quite hard going. It's really trippy, and there's like flashing lights and flashing imagery, but it's a really good story, and some fantastic gore towards the end. So yeah, really like Bliss. Next up is Candyman 2, Farewell to the Flesh. This one I wasn't too keen on. It was really slow, and there were loads of like fake jump scares in it, which kept getting on my nerves. I know Steve, 80s film fan, really likes this one, but yeah, I couldn't quite get into this one, unfortunately. But really nice Blu-ray edition. I'm happy with that edition that I got from HMV. So it's cool. Next up is Countdown. This is the killer app on your phone. You download an app that tells you when you're going to die. But once you do that, these sort of dark figures start coming for you. And it's a bit like a Final Destination thing, where if you evade them, it ruins like their plan, so they come and get you in other ways. It's not bad. It's pretty cool. I enjoyed it. So yeah, not too bad. Right, next up is
classic one.
Yeah, Crimson Cult. So starring Boris Karloff and Christopher Lee. This was a wonderful film. Really kind of like gothic, and it was a good mix of like gothic horror and kind of trippy 60s horror at the same time. But Boris Karloff and Christopher Lee were fantastic in it. Christopher Lee is like the esteemed gentleman, whereas Boris Karloff is like the kind of overacting, like, you are all doomed on this night kind of thing. So yeah, wonderful film. Really enjoyed Crimson Cult.
Yeah.
Next up is Darkness Falls. I just got this for cheap. Watched this one right at the beginning of the month. It was okay, nothing special. Yeah, not much to say about that one.
Not one I've heard of that.
No, from the early 2000s, I believe. So, yeah.
There we go.
Next up is Deadly Manor, the latest Arrow release. This one was a bit slow. There's a lot of wandering around and talking in this one, but it had a decent ending, and the woman in it had really cool makeup on. She's like got a disfigured face, which was pretty awesome. So a little bit slow, but still enjoyed it on the whole. Next up is Dead Time Stories from 88 Films. This is like a horror take on some of the old fairy tales. 3 stories in one, if I remember correctly. The first 2 I really enjoyed. I can't remember what they're taking off, but first 2 were really good. The third one kind of played it silly, but it was way too silly for my liking. I didn't enjoy that at all. But the first 2 was definitely watchable. So yeah, enjoyed it.
Another classic.
I think so.
Yeah.
Demonic Toys. Never seen this film. I remember seeing this in the video shop when we used to go to get a video, and it always intrigued me because that clown on the front, it was his face, and I used to think, man, that looks awesome, and I've never actually watched it, so finally got it this month and enjoyed it. Really liked the practical effects in it. They were very impressive.
It's got a killer teddy bear in it.
Yeah.
Anything with a killer teddy bear,
Well, yeah.
got to be cool.
It has. Next up is the Devonsville Terror from 88 Films. This was good. I enjoyed this. It's a slow burn about these three women that come to the town of Devonsville, and they're kind of like ancestors of these women who were put to the stake in like the old sort of 1700 witch hunting times, and they sort of like kill off a bunch of people, and they may or may not be connected to those women accused of witches back in the day. But not too bad. Like I say, a slow burner. Donald Pleasance is in it, but it doesn't really have a lot to do in it. But overall, I enjoyed it. A good atmospheric one. Next up is Doctor Sleep, the sequel to The Shining. I've just reviewed this in my last video, so if you want to know more about what I thought of it, check that out. I enjoyed it. There were things about it I thought were fantastic. There were things about it that didn't quite work for me, but overall an enjoyable film. I'm glad to have it and add it to the collection. So yeah, not bad. Next up, one of the best films I picked up this month, Edge of the Axe from Arrow Video. I know a lot of people are getting this and I'm hearing lots of good things. I thought it was fantastic. One of the best slashers I've seen in a long time, and it's good that people are seeing this now, because it's not a film that I think deserves to be so obscure, because it was really good.
Artwork's great.
Yeah, and really good artwork from Arrow on that one. Right, next up is the Evictors from Scream Factory. I enjoyed this one. This is another slow burner, but really atmospheric and quite an intriguing storyline. Jessica Harper's in this from Suspiria, which is interesting, so I've never seen her in anything else. And Vic Morrow as well.
Vic Morrow.
Yeah, the legend that is Vic Morrow stars in this. So yeah, enjoyable little film. Not too bad. Right, next up is Gore Whore, shot on video trash from SRS. Can't say it was a good film, but I enjoyed it. If you've got an extremely low threshold for these sort of homemade movies, you'll probably enjoy this one, but I think a lot of people would find this one unwatchable. But it's got a bit of decent gore in it, which these movies tend to do so, and amazing artwork on the front there, so yeah.
Sure, that one again, right? Fabulous artwork.
Yeah, that's Gore Whore. Right, next up is The Grey, which was one that I heard Al from Kaiju Shorts talking about, and I've heard of this film but never knew it had such a kind of horror theme, and I have to say it was absolutely fantastic. Liam Neeson and this group of oil workers, they have a plane crash in a really distressing scene, and they land in the frozen wilderness, and they're stalked and hunted by wolves. And it's a really scary film, very suspenseful, very creepy, and there's a kind of a lot going on emotionally as well. A lot of the guys have sort of got losses in their life, and they've got sort of a few demons which tend to come out in the darkest moments, stranded in this wilderness. So really good film. Thank you, Al, for recommending that. Absolutely loved it. Next up is Ice Cream Man. I wanted to see this for years. I finally got the Vinegar Syndrome edition and absolutely loved it. I had so much fun watching this film. It was not what I expected. I thought it'd be like a really gory kind of Peter Jackson type film, but it's really mild on like the blood and guts. But that didn't take away my enjoyment at all. I really had a lot of fun watching it. And because it like kind of follows the point of view of the neighbourhood kids, it kind of has like a Goosebumps feel to it. And then Clint Howard is just absolutely fantastic as the Ice Cream Man. He really nails that character. Pretty cool cast as well. You've got, like I say, Clint Howard, David Warner, David Norton in this. So yeah, pretty good stuff. Right, next up is a DVD that Cody from H&S Collectibles sent me. It's John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness, which I really enjoyed. I want to thank Cody for sending me this. This came about when I was watching his John Carpenter collection, which if you've not seen it, check out H&S Collectibles John Carpenter collection. Probably the best JC collection I've ever seen. And happen to mention, this is one of the few John Carpenter films I've not seen and don't own, and he was kind enough to take that information, and he sent me a copy of it, and I really enjoyed it. Enjoyed it from the start, pretty much. Very interesting film, a little bit different for John Carpenter, but yeah, really cool stuff. So glad to finally see that one.
Another blast from the past.
Yeah. Another one, Jacob's Ladder. Never seen this. It's one that I've known about for years, so finally just got a copy of this. Thought it was okay. Pretty creepy film, pretty interesting stuff. Again, it was right at the beginning of the month that I watched it, so I don't remember it as much as I'd like to. But yeah, weird film, but some pretty interesting themes in it. So yeah, Tim Robbins is a Vietnam vet who may or not be kind of mentally ill. He's got these weird visions and things like that, and it looks like they've been experimented on during Vietnam, which has affected his mind. So yeah, creepy stuff. Right, next up is a very rare DVD, long out of print DVD, and it's Last House on Dead End Street. So I've known about this for years, but it's always been really hard to find. It's either just out of print or it goes for ridiculous money. And happened to find a copy of this on eBay for not cheap, but cheaper than what I've ever seen it. So a bit of a holy grail purchase for me, this one, to finally get this. Having said that, the movie is terrible. Awful. I really struggled to get through this one.
So is it going back on eBay?
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, just really, really bad, very low budget, terrible transfer, terrible quality, and really, really boring as well. Had a hard time with this one. I am happy to get it. Add it to the collection with pride because of its rarity, but yeah, not one I'll watch again. So it happens.
Yeah.
Next up is The Lure from Criterion. I reviewed this on my channel as well. Very weird film, Polish musical about mermaids that kind of have a lust for human flesh. A lot going on in this movie. Very bizarre, very kind of interpretational, I think. So, but I enjoyed it. Won't be in a rush to watch it again, but interesting film. Yeah, next up from the 50s, Scream Factory. It's The Mole People, which I enjoyed. Watched this on like a Sunday afternoon. Perfect film for that kind of viewing, and I enjoyed it. The Mole People are actually very misunderstood creatures. They weren't as threatening as what I thought they'd be. I actually felt sorry for them throughout most of the film, but yeah, really enjoyed The Mole People. It's a good one. And that's the back of the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Next up, another one from 88 Films, Paganini Horror. God, again, I watched this one a while ago now. This was okay. Nothing special in my opinion. It got a few decent moments. Donald Pleasance was in it, but yeah. But yeah, it was okay. Nice addition from 88 Films though.
Artwork's good again.
Yeah, great artwork on that. They're releasing some nice stuff at the moment. So.
Yeah, the bone dripping blood. Violin bow.
Alright, next up I bit the bullet and I finally picked up the Suspiria remake. Not for me.
Why do they do? Why you can't improve on something?
No, didn't.
Sometimes just leave things alone.
Didn't enjoy this one, and call me small-minded, but I did lose respect for this immediately because it was a remake of Suspiria. It's basically I just found it to be like 2.5 hours of weird artiness and interpretive dancing and that kind of thing, and it just didn't have the flair or the mastery of like Dario Argento. So, yeah, and I don't know. I can't imagine the mindset of someone that sees Suspiria and thinks we need to redo that, we need to update that because.
But it's not just this. I think it's a lot of films that they mess about with and.
Yeah. So.
Next.
Yes, next. What is next? Oh yeah, Terror of Frankenstein next. This was pretty good. Just average, not terrible, but not nothing amazing. In fact, I can't remember it, and I've only just watched it. But I think this is one that I don't see for very cheap very often, and I found it quite cheap recently. That looked like your face then when you held it up.
What do you mean?
So, yeah. So yeah, Terror of Frankenstein, pretty good, pretty average. Almost there.
But easily forgotten.
Yeah. Finally got Train to Busan. So I've heard countless reviews of this saying it's not just a great film, but one of the greatest horror movies ever made, and I would have to agree. It is unbelievably awesome. Train to Busan is amazing. Really action-packed. Great setting on the train. Amazing effects. I love the zombies. I love the way the zombies come to life. And throughout the whole film, you're just thinking like...
I'll borrow this one.
Yeah, you're just thinking throughout the whole film, what else can happen to these people on this train? But just amazing, crazy film. And last up, I just found a 2-disc, I think it's limited edition of War of the Worlds, Tom Cruise. So yeah, it was like pennies. So I thought I'll get that one. So.
I love War of the Worlds.
Yeah, you do, don't you?
Yeah,
I need to watch it again. It's
even the old one, the old 1957, I think, is it?
Answer on a postcard.
Even
guys,
that,
yeah.
The Martian, the machines just absolutely scare me.
Yeah, they are scary.
I know. First time I watched that as a youngster, I was avoiding street lights, walking underneath them because it looked like the death ray.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that again, seeing what I think of it.
Yeah.
So that's everything that we got this month. I think it's 27 films this month, so not too bad. Let me know what you think of them. Is there any in there that you like, any that you don't like? Yeah, let us know. So thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.